Okay, so come to the top of your mat. Into Tadasana. From here, lift your chest high. Isometrically draw your legs together, firing up those muscles. Gaze off at that horizon. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Rotate them back and down. And just let them float down as far as they wish. Take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin in a little bit. Engage your core. Now engage your mula bandhas. Those are your pelvic floor muscles. Those are the muscles you use when you just miss the last rest stop on the expressway. And you'll begin to feel some heat being built. Your muscles are all engaged. You're breathing in and out through your nose. And then add your Uddiyana bandhas. Those are the muscles of your lower abdomen, centered about halfway between your pubic bone and your navel. And you can feel your breath changing. By engaging those bandhas, your diaphragm can no longer push your organs down below your rib cage. But your chest expands, your ribs open up. And you can begin to feel more heat. And then begin to engage your Jalalahara bandhas. That's in the back of your throat, your glottis. Begin to close that off so that your breath begins to have a voice. So you can hear your breath. This is a good way to maintain your meditation during the poses, especially when the poses become really challenging. Listen carefully on your next inhale. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling and pause there. Grab onto your left wrist with your right hand and stretch that left arm up towards the ceiling as you push the hand away. Then bring weight into your left foot and then begin to side bend to the right. And your next inhale, straighten back up, arms up, grab your right wrist with your left hand and stretch that right arm up towards the ceiling. Bring the weight into your right foot and then begin to side bend to the left, pushing that right arm away. Your next inhale, come all the way back up. Your arms float down, out by your side. And then on your next inhale, arms up overhead, gaze up at your palms, and then exhale, swan dive forward, bending your knees a little or a lot as you bring your hands to the floor, maybe just your fingers. And over the next 5 breaths, begin stretching your hamstrings. Each inhale, lift your hips a little bit higher. Each exhale, pull forward a little bit more. On your next inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out and overhead. Gaze up at your palms, palms together, and then lower to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, swan dive all the way over. Pause here for a moment. Leave your right hand on the mat. On an inhale, bring that left arm out to the side and up. Do a twist. Engage your abundance here. Your goal is to bring your shoulder blades vertical. On your fifth exhale, let that left arm float all the way down, and inhale that right arm all the way up. And on your next exhale, float that right arm all the way down, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms up overhead, and palms to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward, and pause here again. Now, if your palms are not on the mat, that's okay. If your legs are bent, that's okay. Isometrically, try to push your palms forward. That will lower your shoulder blades. Trapezius muscles are drawing your shoulder blades down towards your hips. That allows you to pull forward a little bit more. On your next inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms out and overhead. Arms to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Now we start the warm-up. So we're going to do 4 Namaskar A's. We're going to pause at the first plank, and you know the rest. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and pause here. Draw your eyes of your elbow towards the front of the mat and your upper arms toward each other. Stiffening up your shoulders. Your gaze is straight down. Your knees can come down at any time. And then on an exhale, come forward and all the way down onto your belly. And then turn your toenails to the mat. On an inhale, lift up into cobra. And then exhale, curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. You walk out your dog. Slow down your breath. And after your fifth exhale, please look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead, and palms to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. And now we'll do 3 more without pause. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, roll over your toes and up to downward facing dog. And at the bottom of your 5th exhale, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come forward and down halfway. Put your toenails down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale. Lift your hips up and back into down dog. And again, walk out your dog. Stretching your hamstrings. Drawing your elbows toward each other. Dropping your chest between your shoulders. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. 1 more. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through your nose. If your breath is telling you to take a break, take a break. And then look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms up. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we have Namaskar B. Sometimes it's my favorite, sometimes I lie. So from here, starting off in Tadasana, on your next inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up into Utkatasana. Here, 5 breaths. Maybe your hips can come lower. Maybe you can stretch your fingertips farther up. And on your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Turn the left foot out right away. Step the right foot forward. Inhale, up to warrior 1. Exhale, your hands go right back down, back to plank, down, and then inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out, left comes forward. Inhale, arms up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here. You can drop your knees. You go into child's pose. And then at the bottom of your 5th breath, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to the chair. Then rise all the way up. Palms together. Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now this next Namaskar B will hold the warrior 1 for 5 breaths. We'll make that into a humble warrior for 5 breaths. Then do the other side. So on your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up into warrior or into Utkatasana. Tuck your tailbone under, it'll lengthen your spine. 4. Let's exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back to down dog. Left foot turns out. Right foot comes through. Inhale to warrior 1. Work on your pose here. Your feet can be wide apart. Give you more balance. Your left pinky toe should be down. Your hips should be squared to the front of the mat. And 5, let your arms float out by the side. Bring them around behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, chest high. And exhale, fold forward to humble warrior. Lifting your knuckles up towards the ceiling. 4. And on your 5th exhale, let your arms float down towards the mat. And then rotate all the way over to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips high, right foot out. Step forward with your left foot. Inhale up to warrior 1 on the left. If your hips are pointed off towards the front right of your mat, just drag that left hip back. And 5, let your arms float out and down. Interlace your fingers the opposite way behind your back, the way that feels awkward. Push your knuckles down. And on the exhale, forward fold, chest coming down, crown of your head towards the mat, your knuckles up towards the ceiling. And slow down your breathing. And 5, release your bind. Inhale around the warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale forward to up dog. Exhale, roll over your toes to downward facing dog. And on your 5th, in the exhale, hop, step, or float forward to warrior 1. Or yeah, warrior 1. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to Padmasana. Then rise all the way up. Palms together. Float them down to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. Okay. Sure, most of you are happy that this is not a class of 20s and 30-year-olds. You'd have 3 more of those. So from here, look down at your feet and hop your feet mat width apart. We're going to do Padmasana, your big toe to your hands, and Padmasana. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. And exhale, forward fold. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling, straightening your legs as best you can. Tight hamstrings will prevent you, but that's okay. Use the strength in your arms to draw the crown of your head down. And 5, release. Inhale, up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. This time, Padmasana, you put the palms of your hands underneath your feet. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Put your palms underneath your toes. Maybe you can get your big toe all the way up to your wrist crease. Inhale, come up halfway or as much as you can. Straighten your legs. And then forward fold, crown of your head down towards the mat. In each of these poses that we end up doing where you have a forward fold, the crown of your head goes down. And 5, release your binds. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out to the side and overhead, palms together. Hands to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. And then pop your feet back, hip width apart. Okay, we have an optional Vinyasa, should you decide to. Okay, This is made to maintain your heat. Inhale, arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale forward to up dog. And exhale, hips up and back to down dog. Slowing down your breathing. And on your fifth exhale, top step or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Okay, next standing pose is Trikonasana. So on your next exhale, giant step back with your right foot. Right foot faces the back of your mat. Left foot faces the side, arms into T. From here, drop that front hip, lift the back hip, and then begin to tip your triangle. Right hand comes on the inside of that right leg. Maybe your left arm goes up towards the ceiling. Your shoulders being vertical is the goal. Tuck that right butt cheek under. That will tilt your pelvis back. So lean back, fall back. And on your next inhale, rise all the way back up to T. Just rotate your feet, left foot to the front of the mat. And we'll repeat again. Drop that left hip down, right hip rises, and then tip your triangle. If you have a shoulder issue, you can always bring that right arm behind your back or leave it on your hip. There's nothing magical that's going to happen if your arm is up in the air. And 5, inhale, rise back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. From here, step that left foot in a little bit and face the back of your mat. You may want to separate your feet like you're on railroad tracks. And then on an inhale, twist to the right, your chest. And then on an exhale, bring that left arm down on the outside of that right leg into Revolve Triangle. The right arm can be up, can be behind your back or on your hip. Try to pull that right hip back so that you're and 5. Inhale, windmill all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Adjust your foot locations. And then rotate your chest to the left. On the exhale, fold forward, right arm on the outside of the left leg. Maybe this side is significantly different. Maybe more challenging, maybe more favorable. I'm thankful that your body has different histories. You can experience different things. And 5, inhale, windmill your arms all the way back up into T. Look forward, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Have a Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. At the bottom of your 5th breath, Bring that foot up, both feet up. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we have side angle. So on your next inhale, giant step back with your right foot. Right foot is towards the back wall, back of your mat, and go into warrior two. From here, bend that front elbow, that right elbow, and bring that forearm down about midway in your thigh. And then bring that left arm up overhead, trying to get your shoulder blades vertical, and reach with your fingernails as far away as possible from your left toenails. Tuck that butt cheek in. And 5. And an inhale, come all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Adjust your foot locations. And come into warrior two. From here, side angle. Bend that left elbow. Bring it down. Center of your left thigh. Bring that right arm up overhead. Palm facing the floor. Reaching for the corner of the ceiling and wall beyond your left shoulder. In 5. Inhale, straighten out the left leg, arms to T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat and adjust your foot locations. Bring your arms to T with your chest facing the back of your mat. Bring your hands, your palms to heart center, and then rotate your chest to the right. Bend that right knee and come down into prayer twist. Left elbow over your right thigh. Your goal again is to have your shoulders vertical. And 5. Release. Inhale, straighten up your legs, back into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Adjust your feet for a twist on the left. From here, hands to heart center. Rotate to the left. And then bending that left knee for a twist on this side. Notice how different this side might be. Push that right heel away. Stretching that hamstring. And 5, release. Inhale, turn back towards the front of your mat, straighten out your legs, and then step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Have another optional Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank, then down halfway. Inhale, forward tough dog. Exhale, hips up and back into downward facing dog. And on your 5th exhale, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. This time, take a giant step back with your right foot, but face the left side of the right side of your mat. From here, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your heart high, and exhale, begin to forward fold. You can adjust your feet at any time. As your crown of your head comes down towards the mat, you can drop your hands to the mat. How far you get is unique to you. If you looked at every person in this room, everyone would have a different pose. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's bone structure is different. And 5, bring your hands to your hips. Then on your inhale, use your hands and your hips and your legs to raise all the way back up to standing. Walk your hands to the back of your hips. Draw your elbows toward each other. That will lift your chest. Inhale and exhale, forward fold, keeping your elbows drawing closer together. As your head comes down, crown of your head goes down. And 5. On the next inhale, use your elbows to raise your chest all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. Bring your arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, and then push your knuckles away from your body. That'll open up your chest, stretch your pecs, and on an exhale, forward fold. Again, the crown of your head comes down. You should be feeling this in your groins and in your abductors. On your 5th exhale, use your hands to help lift your chest all the way up. Bring your arms out into T. Reach out wide. Inhale, chest high. And exhale, forward fold. And as you come forward and down, maybe you can grab onto your big toes, maybe just your legs. Doesn't really matter. This pose works on your groins and your hip socket, as well as your spine. On your 5th inhale, rise all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips. From here, to get out of this, you can heel toe your feet toward each other, or maybe just hop your feet together. Turn and look towards the front of the mat, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Or you have another optional Vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back into down dog. And walk out your dog. In 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Okay, so now we're to some of the more fun standing poses. Uttita Padmasana. So from here, from Tadasana, bring the weight into your left foot. Lift your right knee up and grab onto your right big toe with your right peace fingers. And from here, maybe you can straighten out that leg towards the front of your mat. Be aware that your spine being straight makes this a little bit easier, actually a lot easier. And 5. From here, you can bring that foot out to the right, or if that doesn't work for you, you can always bring that foot down and then just raise that right knee up, coming out 90 degrees from your left foot. This is a hip opener. And 5, release. Step that out. From here, back to Tadasana. Lift your toes and let them come down onto the mat. Bring the weight back into your left foot. Lift your right foot up off the mat 1 inch. And then inhale, bring the sole of your foot onto the far wall. And from here, maybe you can make a transition to tree pose without putting that foot down. If your foot goes down, that's fine. Every day is different. Your arms can be by your side. If you're steady today, maybe you raise them up towards the ceiling. Then release your arms, release your leg, and step that out. Back to Tadasana. Bring the weight into your right foot. Lift that left knee up and grab onto that left big toe. Straighten your spine here before you start to straighten out that leg. And then that leg comes out towards the front of the room. Maybe it's up by your face. And if you fall out of this, that's why it's only practice today. And then maybe you can bring that leg out to the side, maybe not. Maybe you look really awkward, but that's okay. Nobody can be watching you when they're trying to stay balanced. And release. Step that up. Back to Tadasana. Lift your toes and spread them wide and place them back down. Weight into your right foot again. Lift your left foot up 1 inch. And then bring the sole of your foot forward. This is really working on your hip flexors, primarily your psoas. And if you reach behind and feel your glute is absolutely loose. And then maybe you can transfer this into tree, maybe not. And then release and step that out. Back to Tadasana. Have another Vinyasa. Whoopee. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Whoops. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Step and jump back. Plank and down. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back into down dog. Draw your chest towards your thighs. Drop your shoulders and drop your chest between your shoulders. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. Okay, so now we're going to do a warrior 2, warrior 1, warrior 3. So you're in Tadasana, giant step back with your right foot towards the back of your mat, and come into warrior 2. Sink down in, nice and deep. Get your arms perfectly situated. Slowly rotate your palms up towards the ceiling, and you notice your arms actually come down. That's because your shoulder blades lower. Now, too quickly, just flip your fingers over. Your shoulder blades stay down. Then on your next inhale, straighten that right leg and adjust the back leg for warrior 1. Inhale, your arms up into warrior 1. A little bit of an arch in your back. And 5. Begin to lower your arms out into T. Now look forward. Now the next is warrior 3. Maybe you can just blast off from here, or maybe you want to take a couple of steps in between. But come up onto that right leg. Your arms can be out wide. They can be out in front. The photographer from Yoga Journal didn't show up today. So you don't have to worry. And 5, lower that left leg and come back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat and come into warrior 2. Maybe you can sink down a little bit lower. Push that right heel away. Do the trick with your arms. And 5. Straighten up, adjust to warrior 1. Inhale. Lift your arms up. Gaze up. You should have a bit of a back bend here. Not a huge one. And 5. Float your arms down. Look at that front foot. And when you're ready, blast off into warrior 3. And 5, lower that back leg. Look towards the front of your mat. Step forward into Samasthiti. Okay, we're done with the standing poses. So 1 Vinyasa, and then after the 5 breaths, I'll meet you in seated pose, Dandasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Two, 3, 4, and 5. Walk, step, drop your knees. Come down onto your mat in a seated position. Your feet out in front. Thank you. So many of us have been taught your feet need to be good together. In actuality, they don't. You should have your feet about hip width apart, which is 2 fist widths to be able to fit between the arches of your feet. Bring your hands next to your hips, straighten out and lift up your chest. Now, if your arms are a little too short for your body, you can always move them a little bit behind you until you can get some weight on. You're not looking to hold up your whole body, just to get some tension. And 5, release. Next is Pashimatasana. Inhale your chest tall and exhale, forward fold, reaching for your toes with your hands. Now drawing your collarbones towards your feet and the crown of your head towards the far wall. This pose is a working pose. You're working hard to straighten out your hamstrings and lengthen your spine at the same time. And release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And on your exhale, forward fold again. This time, make a bind across the bottom of your feet. Maybe you can bind your hands across the bottom of your feet. Your collarbones again come forward. Rotate your head down so you're looking at the mat or your knees, and the crown of your head is towards the far wall. Your arms are working hard here. Use your bandhas. By engaging your Uddiyana bandhas, you can come forward farther. And release. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring your hands behind your hips. Bend your knees and bring your footprints onto the mat about hip width apart. From here, tuck your tailbone under, tilting your pelvis back. And then on an inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling into reverse table. We'll be here 5 breaths. Isometrically draw your heels towards your hands. Push your knees towards the front of your mat. On your exhale, come all the way back down. Okay, now we're going to do Sassana. So start with both legs straight, pushing your heels away, and bend your right knee. Bring your right sole into your upper left thigh. From here, stretch your spine tall, and exhale, forward fold, reaching for your toes with both hands. Again, you're drawing your collarbones forward and the crown of your head forward. Notice what's happening to your right hip and your right knee. You're falling out, which is a good thing. That's opening up that hip. As you're stretching your hamstring on the left side and your spine. And release. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, forward fold again. This time, maybe making a bind across the bottom of the foot. Notice how much farther you go on this asymmetric pose. This gets the muscles of the right side of your body out of the equation. In 5, release. Sit all the way back up. This time, grab onto your right foot. Rock it a little bit, left to right. And then, for preparation for Padmasana or Lotus pose. Now, this pose isn't for, this might not work for everybody. Maybe you can bring that right heel into your left hip crease. Inhale your spine tall, and then exhale, reach for your toes on the left leg. Now, if your right knee hurts, back out, don't do it. Just change where you have that left foot, maybe closer to the knee or even completely off the knee. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up, right foot out to meet the left. Then bring your left sole into your right upper thigh. Inhale tall, and exhale, reach for your toes on the right foot. Two. Three. It counts so much better when I don't talk so much. 4. 5. Release. Inhale, come all the way up. And on your very next exhale, maybe you can bind across the bottom of your foot. Try dropping your shoulder blades down your back. Maybe moon the person behind you. See if that makes a difference. That would tilt your hips forward, moving your sacrum farther towards the front of the mat, extending your stretch. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Grab onto that left foot, maybe rock it back and forth a little bit. And then maybe bring that left heel into your right hip crease. And inhale one more time, and then exhale, forward fold, reaching for your right foot. If you can't reach your right foot, maybe just grab onto that leg. But you want to be pulling your collarbones towards your foot. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. From here, I'm going to go into a Marichi series. So push both heels away, legs out straight, and then bend your right knee, bring your right heel up towards your right sit bone. From here, you're going to forward fold, just like you did before, and try to get your shoulder in front of your right shin. You can grab onto your right foot with your right hand, inhale tall, and exhale, forward fold. Maybe you can grab onto that left leg. Maybe that right arm can go all the way around that right leg. Maybe you can even take that left arm around behind you and bind. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. From here, bend that left knee. Bring that left heel in towards your right sit bone, and then replace your right heel there. This is the same thing, but your body's more compact. And by bending your left knee, you make more movement possible out of that left hip. So from here, inhale tall, and then come forward. Maybe you can get farther forward. Try to keep your sit bones on the mat. That's really hard to do. Maybe that right arm comes around behind your back. Maybe, your left arm comes around behind your back. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. Straighten that leg, left leg back out. Right leg stays where it is. From here, grab onto your right knee. Right hand comes behind your back as a kickstand. Straighten your spine. A twist needs the longest spine possible. From here, twist to your right. And maybe that left arm can come all the way around that right knee. And if that doesn't work today, tomorrow's always another day. I'm glad I have a lot more tomorrows to look forward to. And 5, release, come back to center. Again, bend that left knee, bring the left heel close to your right sit bone. Replace that right heel, hand behind your back as a kickstand. Inhale, and then twist to the right again. Notice any difference. You might not notice much now. And on your next exhale, release. Come back to center. Straighten out both legs towards the front of the mat. Push your heels away. Maybe rotate your feet a little bit. And bend your left knee. Left heel next to your left sit bone. Inhale tall. And then maybe fold forward. Trying to grab onto that right foot. Trying to get that left arm around that left shin or left knee. And 5, release. Inhale, come up. Bring that right heel next to your left sit bone. And then come, return the left heel. Inhale tall. And exhale forward, fold again. And maybe this time you can make a bind with your hands behind your back. Maybe now the impossible seems possible. And 5, release. Inhale, sit back up. Bring that right foot out towards the front of the mat. Right hand to the left knee. Left hand is a kickstand. Lengthen your spine. Twist to the left. Push that right heel away. And on your exhale, release, come back to center. Right heel to your left sit bone and replace your left heel. Inhale, tall. And exhale, twist again. And notice the difference that bent right knee makes. Go into your body a little bit deeper and feel these small changes that take place over time. And 5, release. Come back to center. Push your heels away. Rotate your feet, which will rotate your femurs in your hip sockets. And then bend your knees. Bring your footprints onto the mat. And grab your thighs and lean back with a straight spine. Draw your shoulder blades down. Then on an inhale, lift your feet up into Navasana, boat pose. You can release your arms if that's in your practice. Five, release. Take your feet back down for a couple of breaths. And then grab onto the back of your thighs again. Lean back, straight spine. And inhale, lift your legs up. Maybe this time your legs can straighten out. Maybe your arms come out to the side. That intensifies this. Do what's in your practice, or challenge yourself to do a little bit more. And release. I'll tell you, doing Navasana on the beach, the sand can find some interesting places.
Waves do that.
Okay, one more time. Grab the back of your thighs, straighten your spine, drop your shoulder blades. Inhale, lift up. If you want to release, you can. Your arms and legs can go up. But do what's best for your body today. And five, release. From here, we're going into Badakanasana, butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together. And this has two stages. The first, your heels are close to your sit bones, but that's your interpretation. Again, this is a groin stretch. Grab onto your feet. Inhale your spine tall. And on an exhale, draw your collarbones towards the front of your mat and the crown of your head towards the far wall. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Come all the way up. This time, move your feet out a comfortable amount. Inhale your spine tall. Now you can grab onto your feet again. You can bring your forearms underneath your ankles if you wish. Again, there are no extra style points awarded today. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, stretch long. And come down. You should be feeling this in your spine, in your groins. On your next exhale, release. Rise all the way up. Now we're ready for your version of Lotus pose, Padmasana. So if all your body can do is cross your legs or even one leg, that is fine. If you can get into half lotus, you can maybe be able to bring one heel up to the hip crease and the other heel underneath the other knee. That's half lotus. Or if you happen to have gotten flexible enough during this practice to be able to come into full lotus and bring the opposite knee or the opposite ankle over the other one and your heel up towards the hip crease. Be there. From here, sit up straight. Take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin in a little bit and bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. Bring your arms around behind your back. You can make a mudra with your hands, like Anjali mudra. You can grab onto opposite wrists or opposite elbows. Inhale tall. Close your eyes. And over the next 5 breaths, or 10 breaths rather, begin to fold forward with your 10th breath being the maximum you can come over. And witness the changes in your body. Be an observer. Don't be judgmental. Try to catch individual muscles, releasing tension to its neighbor as your body comes forward. See how your body helps itself. Seven. 8. 9. 10. Now, on your own, take maybe 3, 4 breaths and rise back up. Again, paying close attention. Maybe to your hips this time. Maybe to your breath. Notice how your body works. Coming back up, seated vertically, release your bind. Bring the backs of your hands on top of your knees. Maybe make a mudra, although that's not important. Take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. You can be gazing through your eyelids at the horizon, or bow your head in gratitude for your body, your survival machine, and how well it's performed to keep you alive and healthy this long. We'll be here a total of 10 breaths. Eight. 9. 10. Open your eyes. From here, free your legs however is best for you. Notice the temperature of your feet and your legs as you touch them. Bring your feet out towards the front of the mat. Push your heels away, stretching your legs. Bring your hands behind your hips. Rotate your feet again. with your femurs rotating in your hip sockets, it's bringing more synovial fluid, which relieves the tension that they were under. And then come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Raise your hands up towards the ceiling, and then rotate them back towards the wall beyond your hands, beyond your head, and stretch from your heels to your palms, and your toes to your fingers. Notice the difference between those. Then return your arms back down by your side or out from your side, coming into your version of Shavasana. You can adjust your leg locations, bring them out a comfortable distance for you. If you want to walk your shoulder blades underneath your chest a little more, certainly do that. Roll your hips a little bit one side to the other to find the perfect place on your mat for your sacrum. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose, and take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes, to your wrists and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, bend your knees, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones, and draw them into your chest, giving yourself a squeeze Maybe make circles on the ceiling. Massaging your spine. And the next time you're over towards the right side, pause there in fetal pose for just a moment. Do a quick scan of your body to identify any tension or stress that may still be lurking in your tissues. And then when you're ready, use the strength in your left hand to push the floor away. Rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me this morning. Thank you for taking the time and effort to keep your body, your mind, and your breath healthy through the practice of yoga. Take the compassion and empathy that you practice every time you step onto a yoga mat. Take that with you everywhere you go and share it with each person you might meet. Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga.